Today, we're plunging into something that feels like a pretty big deal for 2025 decentralized AI.
Yeah, it's definitely a hot topic.
Well, for a while now, AI has really been the domain of big tech, hasn't it?
Absolutely. Dominated by just a few large companies.
But now we're seeing this new wave emerge. Things built on blockchain, open source stuff.
Exactly. It's a real alternative popping up.
So our mission today is to unpack this shift, try to understand what it all means. We've looked at a bunch of different sources to get a clearer picture.
Sounds good.
Let's start right at the beginning then. What is decentralized AI exactly?
Okay, so think of it like this. You take the core ideas from crypto, things like openness, user control, distribution, and you apply them to AI systems. So instead of one company owning and controlling an AI, it's built on, say, distributed ownership, maybe community governance, lots of collaboration. It's really about bringing that crypto ethos to AI. Openness, self-sovereignty.
So it's about wrestling control away from the giants and spreading it out more. Makes sense. But what's actually driving this? Why now?
Well, there are a few key drivers. Big ones are privacy concerns. Who gets to see and use all the data that trains these massive AI models?
Yeah, that's huge.
Then there's censorship. Who gets to decide what an AI can say or do? And just the general worry about having so much power concentrated in the hands of a few tech companies.
That concentration of power issue feels very familiar.
It does. And decentralized AI offers a potential path to address that, by distributing the control, making things more transparent.
It almost feels like the early ideals of the internet, that sort of democratic impulse. And it seems like it's more than just a niche idea. I saw a statistic about funding that really caught my eye.
Yeah, the funding numbers are definitely telling. In 2024, these decentralized AI startups pulled in about $436 million.
$436 million.
Oh, and what's really striking is that's nearly a 200% increase compared to 2023.
Whoa, okay. Doubling down and then some.
Exactly, that kind of jump in investment. It suggests there's some serious belief building behind this. Could be a real turning point for adoption, Investors are clearly seeing something they like.
Yeah, those numbers definitely make you sit up and take notice. Okay, so if the money's flowing in, we must be seeing some real applications. Where is decentralized AI actually being used today?
We are, and in some pretty interesting places. Let's start with content creation. Think art, media.
Content creation. How does decentralization fit in there?
Well, platforms are using it to generate things like images, interactive stuff. Take the Golem network, for example. They demonstrated running Stable Diffusion, that's a text-to-image AI.
Right, I've heard of that.
Running it on their decentralized GPU cloud. So people contribute their spare graphics card power.
Like from their gaming PCs?
Exactly. Or anywhere else they have spare GPUs, they get paid for it, and users can generate images without relying on one single company's servers. It uses community compute power.
That is a pretty cool idea. Leveraging the crowd's hardware.
Totally. And then there's Alethea AI. They're focused on AI-generated avatars, digital art, that kind of thing. But importantly, it's tied to a blockchain.
Why the blockchain part?
For verification. Putting it on a blockchain, which is like a secure, unchangeable digital ledger, lets creators prove where the art came from, prove it's authentic. Super important for digital art and collectibles.
Okay, proof of origin.
Exactly. So these platforms distribute the whole creation process, reducing dependence on those central providers, gives creators more control.
More power back to the artists. I like that. Okay, what about areas where privacy is absolutely critical, like healthcare? How does decentralized AI handle sensitive stuff like patient data?
Healthcare is a really, really promising area for this. Techniques like federated learning are key here.
Federated learning, how does that work?
Basically, the AI model gets trained on the sensitive data, but the data itself never leaves the hospital or clinic's secure system.
So the data stays put, but the AI still learns from it.
Precisely. There was this big study, Intel and Penn Medicine were involved. They used federated learning across 71 different hospitals globally.
71. Wow.
Yeah, and they managed to improve a brain tumor detection AI model by 33%. 33% better. And no patient records ever left their original hospital. Only the insights, the model updates were shared and combined.
That is genuinely a game changer for medical AI privacy. Any other approaches in healthcare?
Yeah, there's something called swarm learning. It kind of builds on federated learning, but often uses blockchain or peer-to-peer networks to coordinate the training without needing a central server at all.
Even more decentralized then.
There was research published in Nature showing swarm learning accurately detecting cancer markers from medical images across different sites. And the accuracy was comparable to training on a single centralized data set. It really shows the potential to unlock insights from all this siloed medical data while keeping it private.
Amazing potential there. Okay, shifting gears. What about all the connected gadgets? Smartphones, smart homes, the whole Internet of Things or IoT scene. Where does decentralized AI fit with edge AI?
Oh, that's a perfect fit because all those devices, edge devices, generate tons of data right where the user is. Federated learning is ideal here.
Like on my phone.
Exactly. Imagine your smartphone keyboard learning to predict your next word based on your typing. That training happens locally, on your device. Only anonymized updates to the prediction model might get sent back, maybe to a central server, maybe even logged on a blockchain.
So my phone helps improve the AI without sending all my typing history somewhere.
That's the idea. Google's Gboard, the Android keyboard, actually uses this. They trained their next word prediction locally on devices and saw a 24% accuracy boost without centralizing all that personal typing data.
24% is significant.
It is. And you can see the same principle applying to smart home devices, learning your preferences, or connected cars, learning driving patterns collaboratively, all without compromising user privacy.
Really feels like a fundamental shift in how AI handles our personal info. Okay, let's hit another big one. Finance. Decentralization is obviously huge there with crypto. How are AI and blockchain coming together in finance?
Finance is buzzing with this stuff. Everything from smarter trading algorithms to powering DAOs, those decentralized autonomous organizations.
Right, DAOs, organizations run by code.
Exactly. Take Numerai. It's a hedge fund, but it operates very differently. They don't hire analysts in-house. Instead, they crowdsource AI models from data scientists all over the world.
Crowdsourced AI for a hedge fund. How does that work?
They give anonymized financial data to these scientists. The scientists build models, train them, and then stake Numerai's own token, NMR, to show how confident they are in their model's predictions.
So they put skin in the game.
Precisely. Numerai then takes the best models, combines their signals, and uses that collective intelligence to manage its actual investment fund. It's a fascinating wisdom of the crowd approach, but powered by AI and crypto incentives.
That is fascinating. What else in finance?
Well, in DeFi, decentralized finance, we're seeing autonomous AI agents emerge. These are AI programs that can execute strategies like yield farming or trading directly on the blockchain themselves.
AI bots trading crypto.
Kind of, yeah. You've got communities like Hummingbot building open source, decentralized trading bots, and projects like Omo and Fetch.ai are exploring AI-driven portfolio management. The idea is it could democratize access to sophisticated AI trading tools that were previously only available to big institutions. It's like creating a financial hive mind.
Wow, opening up complex financial tools. So we've covered content, health, IoT, finance, any other emerging areas where this is popping up.
Definitely. Still early days for some, but people are experimenting with decentralized AI for content moderation, maybe using distributed AI models to spot harmful content in a way that's harder to censor.
Interesting application.
Also, supply chain optimization, trying to bring more transparency and efficiency there using decentralized tracking and AI insights, and more personalized digital assistants that respect your privacy are another area people are working on. Lots of potential bubbling up.
This isn't just theory. Okay, let's dive into some of the actual projects making waves. Who are the key players we should know about?
A good place to start is Bittensor. Its token is TAO. They've been around since 2019, building this decentralized AI network.
Okay, Bittensor. What's their main goal?
They're basically trying to incentivize a global swarm of AI nodes, researchers, developers to train and share machine learning models collaboratively. They even built their own blockchain designed to make machine learning itself a kind of tradable commodity.
Marketplace for AI models and training. How does it work day to day?
You have two main roles, miners and validators. Miners are the ones contributing compute power or hosting the actual AI models. Validators then evaluate the outputs from these models. How good are they? How useful?
And how are they incentivized?
Through the TAO token. The network rewards the miners whose models are judged to be the best, using this mechanism they call proof of intelligence. It's like the network itself reaches a consensus on which AI contributions are most valuable and rewards them.
Proof of intelligence. That's a novel concept. Using crypto ideas to drive AI quality. Has it gained traction?
Oh, yeah. It's grown pretty rapidly. By late 2024, they had something like nearly 12,000 active miner nodes across different specialized subnetworks.
2,000. That's a lot of participants.
It really shows the power of that community-driven approach, right? It suggests that this kind of open, incentivized network can actually compete with the big, closed corporate AI labs by pooling global resources.
A real validation of the decentralized model. Okay, who else is making noise?
Another really interesting one is Gensyn. Their focus is specifically on the compute side, providing decentralized resources for machine learning training.
So less about the models themselves, more about the power needed to build them.
Exactly. They're creating a marketplace connecting AI developers who need massive compute power with people or organizations globally who have idle hardware, especially those powerful GPUs.
Like Golem, but maybe more focused on the training part, what's unique about Gensyn?
A key thing they've developed is a novel verification system. If you're renting out your expensive GPUs, you need proof that AI training work was actually done correctly before you get paid.
Absolutely. Trust is crucial there.
So Gensyn has the system to cryptographically verify the ML computations performed off-chain. It makes the whole process more trustworthy and aims to seriously lower the cost of training big AI models, breaking that dependency on the big cloud providers like AWS or Google Cloud.
Makes sense. Reducing costs and dependency.
They launched a public testnet in 2024, showed it working for things like image classification, fine-tuning language models on this distributed network. They talk about creating compute liquidity, making it easy for anyone with spare processing power to contribute and earn rewards.
Liquidity. I like that phrase. Okay, now there are 3 projects often mentioned together, especially recently. SingularityNet, Fetch.ai, and Ocean Protocol. What's their deal?
Right. Those 3 have been major players in the Web3 AI space for a while. And yeah, they recently announced a big move together. Let's break them down quickly.
Okay.
SingularityNet token AGIX is essentially a decentralized marketplace for AI services. Developers can publish their AI algorithms, users can find them, use them, pay for them, all on the blockchain.
Like an app store for AI.
Kind of, yeah. Then Fetch.ai token FET is more about autonomous agents, AI programs that can run tasks independently fetching data, executing trades, managing smart city systems like parking, all coordinated via their blockchain network.
So AI doing tasks automatically.
Right. An Ocean Protocol token, Ocean focuses on data. It's a blockchain-based data exchange designed for secure, privacy-preserving sharing of data sets and AI models. They have this cool compute-to-data tech.
Compute-to-data, we touched on that earlier, right? Run the AI where the data is.
Exactly. Allows data owners to monetize access to their data without the data ever leaving their control. Super important for privacy.
Okay, so marketplace, agents, data exchange, they sound complementary. What's the big move they made?
In 2024, they announced that they're merging their tokens AGIX, FET, and Ocean into a single new token called ASI, which stands for Artificial Superintelligence.
ASI, wow, ambitious name.
It is. The goal is to unify their ecosystem, combine their strength, and create a much larger, more powerful, decentralized network for AI development and deployment. It's a major consolidation.
That sounds like a really significant step for the whole field, combining forces like that.
Yeah, these aren't small projects. They have large communities, significant funding behind them. This merger aims to accelerate progress towards a more integrated, open AI infrastructure. Building a network of networks, really.
A network of networks. Okay. Beyond these big names, what about the underlying plumbing, the infrastructure that makes all this possible?
Yes, the infrastructure layer is absolutely critical, and that's where you see these decentralized compute networks really shine. We mentioned Golem, but there's also Akash, Render.
Right, the Airbnb for GPUs idea.
Pretty much. Akash Network, token AKT, runs on the Cosmos ecosystem. It's like a decentralized supercloud using auctions on the blockchain to offer compute, often at lower prices than traditional clouds. People run AI inference, stable diffusion on it.
Lower cost compute, big draw.
Then Render Network, RNDR token, started more in 3D graphics rendering, connecting artists with GPU power, but now heavily expanding into machine learning, also supporting things like stable diffusion.
Graphics to AI makes sense.
And Golem, GLM token, one of the older ones, lets you rent out CPU or GPU cycles. They also showed off running stable diffusion on their network.
So lots of options for accessing distributed compute power.
Exactly. They all use crypto incentives, paying providers in their tokens to unlock all that unused processing power sitting in gaming rigs, university labs, old mining farms. It dramatically increases access to ML compute, especially for smaller teams or researchers, and makes the whole supply chain for AI power more resilient.
A distributed, accessible foundation. That seems key. Any other initiatives worth mentioning in this space?
Definitely. We touched on Aletheia AI and their intelligent NFTs earlier. Numerai's crowdsourced hedge fund is always fascinating. There's also Cortex, ticker CTXC, which is building a blockchain specifically designed to run AI models inside smart contracts, enabling on-chain AI decisions.
AI directly on the blockchain.
Yeah. And don't forget the grassroots communities. OpenMind develops open source tools for privacy-preserving AI, like federated learning. LAION is a research collective that put together the huge dataset Stable Diffusion was trained on. Even big players like Hugging Face are starting to dip their toes into decentralized training experiments. It's a really vibrant mix of projects, communities, and infrastructure all pushing forward.
It really sounds like a whole ecosystem is rapidly taking shape. Okay, let's get a bit more technical. What are the supporting technologies and protocols that actually enable decentralized AI under the hood?
Right, because traditional blockchains aren't really built for heavy AI workloads. So new approaches are emerging. One key area is using specialized blockchain platforms. For instance, Oasis Network and others are building support for trusted execution environments, or TEEs.
TEEs, what are those?
Think of them as like a secure encrypted vault inside a computer's processor. Code and data inside the TE are protected, even from the machine's main operating system. This lets you run sensitive AI computations on a blockchain node securely.
So secure enclaves for AI tasks.
Exactly. We're also seeing new consensus mechanisms designed just for AI, like there's a project called 0G0 Gravity working on a proof of inference. Nodes have to cryptographically prove an AI model's output is correct before the network accepts it, adds a layer of trust.
Proof of inference, that's critical for knowing the AI results are valid.
Totally. And there's lots of research into things like multi-party computation, MPC, or using zero-knowledge proofs for machine learning, ZKML, to verify AI computations privately and efficiently, often off-chain. It's all about building that trust layer for decentralized systems. Verifiability, confidentiality.
Okay, that covers the compute and verification. What about the fuel for AI, the data? How is that handled decentrally?
Good question. You need ways to store and access massive amounts of data and model weights efficiently. Decentralized storage networks like IPFS, Interplanetary File System, and Filecoin are becoming crucial here.
Coin. Heard of those?
Yeah, they let you distribute large data sets or models across many different computers, so there's no single point of failure. By early 2024, Filecoin had thousands of clients storing data, including big AI research data sets.
So spreading the data out.
Right, and then projects like Ocean Protocol build on top of that. They add permission layers, monetization using data tokens, so owners can control and sell access rights to their data stored decentrally.
Monetizing data access.
And critically, Ocean's compute-to-data feature lets algorithms run on the data where it lives without moving the raw data. Remember the hospital example. They keep patient data local, but allow authorized AI models to train on it. So decentralized storage plus these data protocols enable secure, sovereign sharing of AI's essential fuel.
Decentralized data for decentralized AI. Makes total sense. Now, with all these different chains and networks popping up for compute, for data, for models, how do they talk to each other? Interoperability must be a challenge.
It's a huge challenge and becoming more important every day. As the ecosystem diversifies, you need ways for these different pieces to connect and work together smoothly.
So what's being done?
We're seeing development of cross-chain communication frameworks specifically for AI tasks. People are working on standardized ways for AI services to interact via blockchain APIs, particularly in ecosystems like Cosmos and Fetch.ai. The CEO of Warden, an AI security firm, stressed how vital interoperable frameworks are for scaling this whole thing.
Just in standards, basically.
Exactly. You can imagine scenarios where compute happens on one specialized chain, data lives on another, and results are passed securely between them using oracles or cross-chain bridges. Plus, integrating AI with Web3 identity systems like an AI agent verifying your credentials stored as an NFT before doing something for you. It requires underlying tech like decentralized identifiers, DIDs, and data indexing protocols like the graph. Essentially, a whole Web3 middleware layer is growing to connect the AI dots trustlessly.
Building the connective tissue. Okay, fascinating stuff. Let's shift to the specific technical architectures. We keep hearing about federated learning and swarm learning. Can you break those down a bit?
Sure. Federated learning FL is really foundational. As we said, instead of bringing all the data to one place to train a model, you take the model training to the data sources.
Right, train locally.
Each device or organization trains the model on its own data, calculates updates, and only those updates, not the raw data, are sent to be aggregated, improving the global model. It's the opposite of the traditional centralized method. Google's Gboard keyboard is the classic example.
Got it. And swarm learning.
Swarm learning builds on FL, but takes it a step further towards full decentralization. It often uses blockchain or peer-to-peer networking to coordinate the whole training process without any central server managing things.
No central coordinator at all.
Exactly. That Nature Medicine study on cancer diagnosis used a blockchain protocol for this. Participants write their model updates to a shared ledger or exchange them directly with peers. Consensus algorithms then merge these updates. You get the privacy benefits of FL plus the robustness of being fully decentralized. No single point of failure for coordination.
Privacy and robustness.
Yeah.
Sounds powerful.
Yeah, and we're seeing both FL and swarm learning being tested now in finance for things like fraud detection or in telecom for optimizing networks.
So training is getting decentralized. What about actually using the models once they're trained, especially the really big ones?
Good point. That's where peer-to-peer model serving or PDP inference comes in. The idea is to distribute the job of running a large AI model across many different computers.
Like BitTorrent, but for running an AI.
That's a great analogy. A project called Petals is a prime example. It's open source. It lets people volunteer to host just a small piece, like a few layers of a huge language model, LLM.
So you chop up the giant model.
Exactly. You might have dozens or hundreds of people each hosting a part of, say, a Llama or Bloom model. When a user sends a query, Petals intelligently routes a request through the sequence of volunteer nodes needed to generate the response.
So even someone with just one decent GPU could help run a massive AI model.
That's the potential, yeah. It makes powerful AI much more accessible and resilient. If one node drops offline, the network can reroute. Petals even supports collaborative fine-tuning of these distributed models.
Collaborative fine-tuning too. Cool.
And Bittensor also uses P2P networks for inference. Users query models hosted by miners, and the network rewards the best responses. It points to a future where AI models might live distributed across thousands of nodes, not just in a few giant data centers.
Truly distributed AI brain. Now, we talked about incentives earlier. How crucial are these token economics in making all this work?
Oh, they're absolutely fundamental. Getting the incentives right is maybe the critical design challenge for decentralized AI. You need to motivate people globally to contribute high-quality compute, data, and models. We saw Bittensor's proof of intelligence with TAO rewards. Gensyn and Akash use things like escrow holding payments until verification confirms the compute job was done right, often paired with slashing penalties if someone provides bad data or faulty computation.
Carrots and sticks.
Exactly. Numerized staking mechanism directly links a data scientist's potential earnings and losses to their model's performance. And platforms like Ocean or SingularityNet let data providers or AI service creators earn fees directly when their contributions are used. Some projects are even exploring how to automatically share the value generated by an AI back with the people whose data helped train it. It's these token-powered schemes that enable open global collaboration at scale.
It's really weaving economics into the AI development process itself. Okay, last big technical piece, governance. If these AIs are decentralized, who controls them? Who decides how they evolve?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And the answer is increasingly pointing towards DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations.
DAOs again. How do they govern AI?
Well, you can have AI-focused DAOs where stakeholders, often token holders, vote on key decisions. SingularityNet is an example. AGIX holders vote on things like which new AI services get funding or which blockchains to support.
So community voting.
People are also talking about AI constitutions rules for AI behavior defined by the community and potentially enforced by smart contracts on the blockchain.
An AI rulebook enforced by code.
Kind of. And projects like Bittensor have roadmaps where users eventually govern core network parameters through voting. There are even experimental DAOs that literally own AI assets, like an AI art generator or maybe even an AI that manages its own treasury. It points towards AI systems that aren't just run decentrally, but are also governed decentrally.
Wow. Organizationally decentralized too. Okay, this has been a deep dive indeed. Let's try to pull it all together. As we look at decentralized AI heading into the rest of 2025, what are the main takeaways?
I think the biggest one is just how fast this is moving. It's rapidly shifting from just theory and niche experiments to real-world applications we can actually see and touch across many different fields.
Yeah, the use cases in healthcare, finance, content creation, they feel tangible now.
Exactly. We're seeing a vibrant ecosystem grow lots of projects, both startups and community efforts. The crucial infrastructure like decentralized compute and storage is getting built out, and these novel incentive and governance models are being tested.
It definitely feels like the proof of concept phase is well underway. The benefits of decentralization more access, more collaboration seem clear.
They do. Now, there are still big challenges, of course. Scaling the compute efficiently, ensuring consistent quality control across distributed networks, navigating tricky regulatory and ethical waters. Those are all real hurdles.
Sure, it's not all smooth sailing.
But the momentum is undeniable. When you see things like major projects merging their tokens, like the ASI Alliance and the kind of funding increases we talked about, it signals real conviction. Decentralized AI is moving from paper to practice.
So wrapping up, what's the final thought for listeners to chew on?
I think it's about this powerful convergence happening between Web3, blockchain, crypto, decentralization, and AI. It really suggests a possible future where AI services aren't just controlled by a handful of giants.
But become more like cryptocurrencies themselves.
In a way, yeah. Potentially as open, as transparent, as globally participatory. Imagine AI that's built, run, and governed by a worldwide community. That's the potential future decentralized AI points towards. It definitely makes you think about where this could all lead, right? Maybe even check out some of the projects we mentioned. The future of AI might just be decentralized.